Woe to you, O earth and sea.
It's the Hop Nation
USA Podcast. It's episode 234 of the Hop Nation USA Podcast, and we're, at the behest of the ice giants who decided to freeze the entire eastern seaboard. We are following their suggestions to stay indoors.
So that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, their very slight suggestion to stay indoors.
Also followed up by one of us following on their ass earlier today.
Oh, did you fall?
I will neither confirm nor deny
cool.
that happened.
Because here's what happened. I didn't fall because I didn't want to fall. and I texted you and I said, hey, we're going to do this over Zoom because I'm not breaking my ass for a show that doesn't pay me and I don't have health insurance.
No, that math don't check.
Yeah, I'm not breaking my ass and wrecking a car.
Yes. Yeah, it just kept getting worse and worse after we talked about that earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the wise move.
Hell yeah. So no real theme on the beers this week, people. We're just doing what we got in the fridge.
Yeah, this one's a little bit on the fly.
But I think I got some treats for the people.
I know I have treats for myself.
Yeah. And I think I got some things we can talk about, and hopefully you have some things to talk about. So
I got a thing or two.
Yeah, why don't you start with a thing or two, and we'll start with your beer first.
All right. Well, let's talk about beer, Steve, because that's why we're all here. Let's be honest. I have something from Hitchhiker. This is courtesy of my friend Derek. Thank you, Derek, for handing this off to me. This is the Heavy as Liquid. This is a stout with blackberries, vanilla, cocoa nibs, and milk sugar. Very nice looking can. I know they always have a bit of a theme, but I honestly really like the look of this one. It's very nice. It's got it's kind of got some 80s vibes to it. Little retro wave going there. And it goes very well with our glass, I might add.
Yeah, well, all stouts go well with the glass, and the glass was designed for that. So
it goes very well. As you can tell, I've already been sipping on it. Comes in at like a whole bunch, 9%.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big hitter. It's a stout. This is the definition of stout weather.
Yeah,
you know, all weather is stout weather. When you think stout weather, this is it.
This is maximum stout weather.
Yes, we have pegged the meter.
Here's a fun question for both you and the audience.
Yes.
To ruminate on and think about.
Mm-hmm.
Has Hitchhiker ever made a stout that is below 8%? Think about it.
The only one I can think of is, and I had it a long time ago, and I think it was a smoked stout that they made. And I think it came in at about 7.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to check my archives.
Yeah.
But I think back in the early days, 2014, 2015, they did.
Right. Yeah. Maybe like way before Sharpsburg was a thing. But just name it off the top of your head. Go ahead. Name a stout that's under 8% from Hitchhiker.
Can't do it.
Now name all the ones that are.
That will just be the show.
Right. So, welcome to an hour and a half of trying to remember Hitchhiker stouts.
There will be no breaks.
Yeah.
But drinking on it, I mean, it's definitely a stout. You can tell it's got some of that blackberry, but not, it's a very nuanced mixture of flavors here. But you could definitely tell that it's got some adjuncts. It has everything. You could taste the blackberry. You could taste, the cocoa nibs. The vanilla is a little bit, faint, I'll say, because usually vanilla, it kind of smooths things out. This does not have that vanilla smoothness, which I'm okay with. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. But, it's still a good beer. It's a Hitchhiker stout. Surprise, surprise.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah. Big shockers coming from the world.
Yes. But what about you, Steve? What do you got?
I got something a little different, a little new. Believe it's Yeah, it's got to be the first time we've had this on the show. But I am drinking from Notch Brewery.
Mm.
Yes,
Okay.
Notch Brewery. It is their Left of the Dial American Session IPA. So it's kind of an odd misnomer, though, because they call it an American Session beer.
Mm-hmm.
But it says right on the Untapped description that it's made with British malt.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's made with British malt, and because it's only 4.3, they're shooting for a British ABV.
So that was going to be my first question: is what is the ABV on this? And I see a 4.3, so it is a beer.
Yeah, still a beer, but it's a very, very light, sippy boy.
So left of the dial, so they're getting down in the NPR zone.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
Get in there with that classical music and
Yeah.
the
It is
communists.
a communist and college radio. Also, just looking at the ingredients, they say it is dry hopped with Citra and Mosaic.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, when just opening it and pouring it, it has a huge nose on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty classic, so you're not gonna like this. The low ABV is that is not something to draw you in. You're not gonna like this beer.
So they say it is an American session. Is it a session IPA?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, it's a session IPA. They also brew with British malts and everything in it, but it tastes pretty classic.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't think it's really going to blow anybody's socks off. Yeah, if you're chasing a classic flavor, this is it. There's not too many bells and whistles about it, but yeah, otherwise, it's a fine beer.
I'll say that's okay.
Yeah, it's a fine beer. I think most people are way more chasing notches like Czech lagers, because that's how I procured this. It was gifted to me by Brian Reed, who has been constantly ordering Notch from their website and shipping it into his house, and he'll order a shitload of their Czechs, and then a couple other things just to try them.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So where is Notch out of?
They're out of Salem, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Remember, because last week we were talking to
Yes.
Greg, and he said he'd been drinking there a whole bunch since moving to Massachusetts. So
Yes.
yeah, there you go.
Nice. So what is there an IBU listed on this, even though it doesn't matter?
No,
Okay.
yeah, they say no IBUs.
That's a lie.
Yeah, it just says no IBUs.
No,
but
sorry, we didn't bother.
Yeah, but because it shoots for that U.S. hop profile while being British malted and ABV'd, it definitely is more of a classic IPA style. So don't even expect the softness that you would get from a lot of Citra IPAs out there nowadays. And you can see when you look at it, it's a lot clearer. It's not as hazy.
So this sounds like it's kind of inching towards a West Coast, like a low impact West Coast IPA.
No.
No?
No, because it's malted British style.
Okay. Well,
So-
what kind of drove me towards that was it's getting towards clear. And
Right.
It has a very big nose to it.
Right, but no, it is much more. Just looking at it, it would look like more of a British IPA.
Okay.
It's not clear, but it's also not like a hazy juice soft baby kiss.
Yeah.
So
All right. So it's just an IPA.
yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't need to have any words in front of it. It's just an IPA.
Yeah, which seems like a lot of things from Notch are just. They're just a 10 Plato Czech Pilsner. They're just. Yeah.
Which makes complete sense because I know Breweries in PA has talked about, the year of the lager and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think some of that is coming back. I know we've talked before about the classic styles coming back in vogue.
Right.
We're seeing more and more evidence of that actually happening.
Yeah, I mean, people have been prognosticating that forever. But I think this year a little bit of last year, but this year is definitely the year for it, and we know that because I believe there are 2 lager festivals happening in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
So compared to 0,
right,
from the past,
because nobody would have showed up to a Lagerfest.
Yeah, no.
3 years ago, nobody would have gone.
No, 3 years ago, nobody wants that.
No,
Yeah.
but now we're all just so tired, and we just want a beer. We don't want to think about it.
Well, I don't know that I still will show up to a lager festival, but
I would.
Well,
I
you
would.
can.
I would go.
you can go enjoy yourself.
I'll show up twice. That way you're covered.
I need a lot of assurances. Like I need some Dunkels, and I need some Schwarzbiers, and I need like it can't just be a bunch of Pilsners and Italian Pilsners because I'll leave.
You just start bugging all the brewers. Hey, what else do you have? Like,
Yeah.
What do you have in your stash?
What's your highest ABV lager?
Oh God.
We have a 6.5. Don't.
But I'll guarantee if somebody showed up, that would be their MO.
Nah, I don't. I feel like nobody going to Lagerfest. I feel like I think there's a level of pretension to enter Lagerfest.
If you're the one that's organizing the group to go.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a friend of a friend, like, oh, a beer fest, yeah, give me a ticket, and then they go.
Okay.
That's the person that I'm keying in on. That's going to do that.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe there's got to be at least maybe 1 or 2 of that person, but it's no way going to be in mass like the February fucking convention center.
The Winter Beer Fest.
Yeah.
The shit show extraordinaire.
Yeah. The fact that people still go to that is, whatever. But
Yeah, exactly. If you want to go.
yeah,
I'm not going to stop.
it is definitely got to be like 2 distinct crowds.
Yes.
Of the people who go to that and the people who go to Lagerfest.
But I wouldn't be surprised if there is some overlap.
Some, but
And I think part of that might be, people that start at the Winter Beer Fest and maybe they kind of don't know what they're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
And then they see something that's a little more nuanced and they kind of take that step away from the en masse.
I bet
Kind of get a little bit more specialized.
I bet there's more overlap in the actual brewers working both events.
That's a good possibility too.
just people who have to be there. Or like people trying to earn a little extra scratch so they can afford Lagerfest, but they got Winter Beer Fest for free.
Yeah.
There's probably some overlap there.
They worked Friday and they went on Saturday.
Yeah.
Speaking of fests, I guess we should talk about some news, notes, and some neats.
Sure.
And the first one, it's local,
Yes.
but it's bigger and better than ever. We assume. We know it's bigger. We don't know if it's better. We just assume it will be.
It's the right amount of good.
It is the right amount of good. Yes, they are all pointed in the right direction. But Beers of the Burgh 2022. They announced earlier, it would have been a week ago. It was on a Friday, as you should. They announced their dates, plural, for the Beers of the Burgh in June. It will be June 4th and June 11th. 2 dates. 2 dates. First time ever in Pittsburgh craft beer history. Beers of the Burgh will be back-to-back weeks.
Maybe I didn't read correctly, which is very possible. Are they running 2 sessions on each date, or are they? I thought that I read they're running 1 session each date.
I think it's 1 session each date.
Okay, yeah, that's why I thought I read.
And it is a Raw versus SmackDown situation
Oh yeah.
because they announced just a little bit ago some of the breweries that will be at each session.
Oh.
And they are separate.
Oh.
So you might have to kind of choose if you're only able to go to one. You might have to choose, which brand you're going with. You going red, you going blue.
That's something of an interesting twist.
It is. It is.
Yeah. I can't even I mean, surely I can speculate on why they would do it this way, but yeah, I'm not sure why they would.
My assumption is room. And here's my thought process on that: is nobody really knows what the future is going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
And so they might be trying to have a situation where people can still spread out.
Right.
So if they only bring in half the breweries that are able to come in, half one weekend, half the next weekend, that gives people room to, have a little bit of elbow room, spread out a bit, just in case.
Yeah, no, now that you're saying it, it makes a lot of sense, because then you're not excluding any of the breweries in Pittsburgh, as the name would imply.
Right.
So that way you have half of the massive amounts of breweries that are in Pittsburgh one date, and then you have the other half the next date, and then hey, maybe you double sell some tickets.
I don't think there's going to be a maybe about that.
Yeah,
I
that was
guarantee
that was a very come on. Yeah, that was a very sly maybe.
Yeah, but I find it interesting that now you kind of have to choose. If you're only able to go to one, you kind of have to choose which one you're going to. You can't just get it all anymore.
Right, yeah.
And if you're going to miss out on, breweries, which ones are you willing to sacrifice?
Which
sucks.
It kind of sucks, but you know what? Here's the way they really maximize shit is they almost have to put Dancing Gnome on one and Brew Gentleman on the other.
Explain yourself.
They're the two biggest breweries in Pittsburgh that people love. They always have the biggest lines at Beers of the Burgh.
Which going back to giving people elbow room makes sense.
Yeah, but also if you want to maximize that double sell, because people can't not JO over Brew Gentleman and Dancing Gnome. They just can't. It's always a constant circle jerk. So you have to put them on opposing dates. Get that double sell for sure. Make sure that way, if nothing does go wrong in the next 6 months or whatever, in the next 4 months, then people are way more willing to throw money at both events.
That is true.
They can fill up both.
And I like that idea even more because it gives Beers of the Burgh as an organization, I guess you could say, a chance to catch up. Mm-hmm. Because in the last few years, obviously, as an organization, that I'm sure they've taken some hits because events have been reduced or outright canceled.
Right. Well, because everybody took hits.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, I would say, it's nice that they've already have it scheduled and they have it scheduled for June. Mm-hmm. Because boy, it really got asses to elbows last year with everything being September.
Yeah, it did.
So
stack it all up.
Yeah, so they can have all of June if they want.
Oh, can you imagine just the month of June as just all beer fest? Just every Saturday going to a new beer fest.
Ugh.
I would be 800 pounds.
I'd just be dead. I can't do. So what were the dates on that again?
It was June 4th and June 11th, 20 and 22.
Dang. Because there's one other problem with that.
What is that?
Well, we talked to Adam Zane.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no.
Yeah. Yep. Unfortunately, Brews and Bruises Festival has been scheduled for Saturday, June 4th.
Oof.
Yeah. So there's another competition, a little bit of competing dates that way. But that does mean that if you miss Beers of the Burgh on the 4th, you still have another date to get Beers of the Burgh.
And I don't know if maybe that was kind of done deliberate.
I would almost, I don't want to say guarantee, but I do not think Beers of the Burgh had Brews and Bruises and Festival in mind when they were doing calendar.
No, but that possibility does exist. That with 2 weekends, hey, we're not covering up anybody else, no matter what.
Yeah. I don't know. You got to make your decisions in the summer. That's for you.
This is true. This is very true.
Yeah. But you can go to Brews and Bruises, the pro wrestling and beer event. That'll be at the Ross Draver Ice Garden in Bell Vernon.
So instead of Raw versus SmackDown, you've got AEW.
Well, yeah, it's like ECW versus Raw one night, and then SmackDown is free the other night. So do as he please.
Just do whatever.
Yeah, do whatever. Take an Uber from one to the other. Gives a shit.
Just make it a big old lumberjack match, and somebody just throws you back into an Uber.
Yeah, that's right. A bunch of people to crowd around you and shove you in an Uber and take you to your next event, lump you up a little bit, and send you on your way.
I would enjoy watching that.
Yeah,
I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. Too old.
No, yeah, too old. I don't have it in me.
I have to be in bed by 9:30.
Yeah, absolutely. It's too much. All right.
So what else you got?
I have something that is less neat.
Okay.
I'm in a fucking mood after I read this.
Oh no. All right.
Time for a good old AB-Inbev bash.
All right. You know what? I was in a good mood today.
I wasn't, because it was icy and shit. I like the snow. I hate ice. It's awful.
Well, yeah, ice belongs in your drink.
Yeah.
Not on your sidewalk.
Absolutely. It's terrible. So I read a story coming out. The 2022 World Cup is coming this year. And
yeah, I don't want to support that.
Yeah, most people aren't looking forward to supporting the World Cup because the World Cup is being held in Qatar, and you can draw whatever conclusions you want as to why the World Cup is being held in Qatar. The problem that most people acknowledge is that it's basically built with blood money. Mm-hmm. Because it was awarded to Qatar in 2010, which means they've been preparing this for 12 years. And in that 12 years, 6,500 people have died building the stadiums and infrastructure to support this event.
That's going to be used for 3 weeks and then abandoned.
Well, more or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have, basically 2 9/11s worth of people and then some change dying.
I hate that that's a unit of measure.
It's the new unit of measure, but yeah. It's
it is.
Yeah, 2 9/11s and some change. I mean, hey, that it shouldn't have happened that, we started saying every day was a 9/11 with coronavirus if you don't want things measured in 9/11s.
Right.
But
God, I hate all of this.
Yeah.
You haven't even gotten to the story yet, and I hate all of it.
I haven't even got to the beer part. The beer part of all this is Bud Light or Budweiser may be sold. As people may or may not know, Qatar is a Middle Eastern country that bans alcohol. You have to have special foreign permission to buy alcohol. There's maybe 5 places you can buy alcohol in the whole country, and they're usually resorts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hey, you might be able to get some Bud Light or a lesser ABV Budweiser product at the stadiums where you're watching football, built on the corpses of a bunch of migrant workers who, they essentially earn $11 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Working in 120-degree heat.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty fucking awful. And
yes.
Most people hate FIFA at this point because it's expected that FIFA will probably get about $1 billion in profit from this.
It's all crooked.
Yeah, it's terribly crooked. But now, I mean, if you weren't drawn into this as a beer drinker, now you can be, because now you have an enemy in AB-Inbev who is, wantonly trying to flaunt the rules of, the essential theocracy that is in Qatar. Like, whether you agree with that or not, AB-Inbev is throwing money to circumvent those rules. So
Money talks.
Yeah, so they can make even more money by selling beer at the event. An event that's already marred by the deaths of a bunch of people.
And not only that, but they're able to use that in their advertising as well. In countries where their citizens are going to be at the matches themselves.
Right. Proud sponsors of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's the footy beer. We got to drink that during the match.
Yeah. And I think it's just important to say something about it, especially to most of our American listeners, because look, I'm not immune to watching the World Cup when it comes on.
You and I have both watched the World Cup at a bar together.
Yeah, I've watched World Cup multiple times. It's one of the few times I do watch soccer. I used to watch a lot of soccer in college, but I don't now.
Right.
But I would say in general, Americans who are prone to that behavior do not know how many people have fucking died to bring this shit show to light this year.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's essentially like the Olympics. You don't care about it for 3 3/4 years.
Right.
And then for about a month and a half, you care, and then it goes away again.
Right.
And you don't do any looking into it. You don't, you just show up. Oh, the World Cup's on. All right, I'll watch this. Go Ghana. I'm rooting for Ghana this time.
Yeah. The difference is we usually don't hear about thousands of deaths tied to the building of Olympic stadiums.
Right.
And I don't know how many people have heard about thousands of deaths over the past 12 years tied to the building of, these stadiums for the World Cup. But I'm letting you know now, it's a thing.
Your conscience is clear. Yeah,
my conscience is clear. I probably will not be watching the World Cup. Like, I have no interest in supporting somebody who is standing to make $1 billion off a bunch of dead people, and also fuck AB-Inbev.
Yeah. I from your perspective, I'm not seeing much of any redeeming factors here.
No, it's just fucking soccer. You can play it anywhere.
It's true. You can.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're holding outside qualifiers in Minnesota in the snow.
Oh, they were. Yeah. Because the United States just did that a few days ago. They played against a Central American country, and it got down to, I believe, single digits.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, they're in shorts.
Right.
Like with American football, it doesn't matter if there's 6 inches of snow on the ground. It matters in the everywhere else football.
Right. Well, it actually stays on the ground. The ball.
You actually use your feet.
Yeah. The ball has to be kicked over the ground. I don't know if you've ever kicked a ball in snow before. It doesn't travel real well.
No, it doesn't. And it hurts a lot more, too.
Condensed air. Heavy ball. Tom Brady hates it.
That's right. There's no tuck rule to save him now.
Yeah.
Poor Tom Brady. He's retired. He's an old man now. He's just going to have to go home to his millions of dollars and a supermodel wife.
Kiss his son on the mouth.
Like, that's all completely factual, but it's still got funny.
It's all facts, so do something about it.
That's right. Get out of here, libel suit.
Yeah. That's your fuck AB-Inbev and fuck the World Cup segment for the year, I guess.
Which means, I guess, next week we're going to have to cover curling, because that's once in every 4 year. We're due for that.
Yeah.
Toss some rocks.
Hell yeah. Rock toss.
Curling is fun, though. We'll give you that. Toss some rocks, drink some beers.
That's right. Cool.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah. Did you have something else?
Well, we have been talking a lot internationally.
Yes.
And I did have one more. And it's just, this is a neat thing. This comes from the beautiful country of France. I assume it's beautiful. I've never been there.
I heard things.
I hear their food's good, but it's France. It's cool. But there is a brewery over there, and they are brewing a blue beer. And it is not just a beer that has blue food coloring in it. They are doing it organically, using natural things from the world.
Natural things from the world. Okay.
What they are using is an algae called spirulina, which their technical term for what the coloring is psychocyanin or something like that. Psychocyanin.
No.
That's what
there's no S in the word, so you're probably going for phycocyanin.
Phycocyanin. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I just kind of naturally put the S in there.
I understand. Yeah,
because it looks so much like psycho.
Yeah, there's no precedent for this word. We don't use it in our daily language.
No,
but it is an extract from the blue algae, and it's blue as hell.
It is blue as hell. I saw some photos of it on the online, and it's Smurf piss.
Mm-hmm. Yep, pretty much.
It is a solid blue hue. Hoppy Urban is the brewery in France that is putting this together, and they're using this as a way to promote the algae. The algae is trying to be promoted as a dietary supplement you can put into your foods and that, make it a superfood. Make you all happy and healthy after you've had 8,000 baguettes, perhaps a croissant. And ratatouille. I believe that's French food.
Sure. There you go.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. So I had a couple notes. This isn't the first time that spirulina has been used in beers to turn them blue. I think it might be. Okay. I think it might be kind of common among some experimental people because, like you were saying, it is supposed to be a dietary supplement. Mm-hmm. So that's been around for a long time. People just buying this blue powder and throwing it in and making themselves, superfood drinks. A couple other breweries that have used it. One, I'm almost positive we've talked about in the past, or at least I've definitely tweeted about it.
Okay. All right.
It's just something I saw at 3 a.m, and I was like, I gotta tweet about it. But there's a brewery in Japan though, and it's the Abashiri brewery, and they have a beer called the Okhokst Bleu.
All right.
And what it is when ice flow comes off the Arctic.
Okay.
During the melt, they'll take ice from the Arctic flow,
mm-hmm.
and they'll add spirulina and make this super blue beer.
Okay.
Essentially, the spirulina is just to sell the blueness of it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Arctic ice isn't blue.
Right. But you got to zhuzh it up somehow.
It's gimmicky. And then another, if you use it in lesser amounts, it'll turn beer green. Mm-hmm. So I think it's been used in that way as well. But Erdinger, heard of them?
I heard of them.
Yeah. They've used it to promote non-alcoholic beers as almost like a Gatorade.
And this beer from France definitely has a Gatorade vibe to it as well.
Yeah. The Erdinger one was much greener.
Mm-hmm.
So they made they made it look like Gatorade, and because it was a non-alcoholic, and how Germans drink beer with their exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the whole thing they were shooting for in that. Yeah.
Looking at you, rattlers.
Yeah.
With your bicycle rides.
Yeah. The other way people turn beers blue is with that butterfly PT.
Yes. What was those breweries in Iowa we talked about a few weeks ago?
No.
They did with butterflies?
That's something completely different, bud.
But they did involve butterflies, didn't they?
They did, but
that was the only connection that I had.
Yeah, that was actual butterflies. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about a tea flower.
Oh,
I'm talking about a flower,
they're all the same.
and it's called butterfly pea. PEA, not tinkle.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought you were talking about
No.
butterfly urine. I
Not
don't know,
tinkle.
man. we don't know that. Actually, we do know that.
I know. Yeah. But yeah, that's the other way you can turn a beer blue is if you use this tea flour and just basically soak your beer, dry hop it essentially.
Right, right.
But yeah, you can get natural green and blue colors out of that. Just looking at it, the spirulina and the butterfly PT, they both seem to be about the same per ounce.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, they seem to be around like $15 to $20 for like 3 or 4 ounces.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it's not cheap at all, but I don't know how much you need to be effective. You know what I mean?
Right.
Maybe you.
And I'm not willing to spend that money to find out.
Maybe you are. Who knows?
No, I'm not.
Are you sure you don't want to try to make you want a blue cream ale?
Listen, I still gotta perfect my old cream ale recipe.
You put some raspberry in it. You make a blue raz cream ale.
Mm.
Blue raz cream ale. Do it for the summer.
Patent pending.
For the people. Do it for the people.
No, I do that for me. I brew that beer for me.
Hey, you do whatever.
2022, year of me.
You're the tiger, but
it is year of the tiger.
You can be a hanger on too, I guess.
Ride them coattails.
Yeah.
Sure. I say we get back to the beers that we were drinking.
Back to the beers.
Yes. For me, it was the Heavy as Liquid by Hitchhiker.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I like this beer. I don't know that it is the absolute best that Hitchhiker has ever made, but that is not to say that it is not excellent, because it is excellent.
Yeah.
I like it. I enjoy it. If someone handed me another one, I would drink it. But I might also venture elsewhere into their stout realm, somewhere above 8%.
Yeah, sure.
They're all above 8%.
Yeah. Do you want an 8? Do you want a 9? Or do you want a 10? That is your choice.
How soon do you want that Uber ride to show up?
That's right. For me, I'm finishing up the notch left of the dial American Session IPA. Hey, it's a lot of classic flavors, everybody. If you like a classic beer, this is what a classic beer tastes like.
Nice.
I'll say you could probably find this a lot of places though. With it being a Citricman Mosaic hop profile, that's not interesting or new to anybody. That's every beer out there. So it's malty, it's bitter, but I don't think it's terribly like interesting or something you couldn't find elsewhere. So it's good, but it's not something I would order online and have shipped all the way from Massachusetts to here.
But if you're in Massachusetts, grab it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're already at Notch, then try it.
Okay, that seems fair.
Yeah, because it's a fine, easy drinking, 4.3%. But don't fucks with it if you're like Adam, because it is very hoppy and it is very bitter. It's malty and it's bitter, and it's it's like it tastes like a US IPA while having British characteristics.
That's fair. All right. Thank you for that warning.
Yeah. it's like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Wait.
It's both American and British, and you can't really tell which one's which.
Oh, I thought it was just a really good method actor.
Hey, yeah. It's also really good at acting like a US IPA.
All right, let's take a break. Let's get a reload here. Do some promos and that.
Do some promos, and we'll come back. We're going to talk some more stuff about You're the Tiger and other things. It's a real international episode, I'll tell you. And that's okay. Yeah, you're going to learn today. Break it out. Bunch of education going on. All right, we'll be right back.
First Sip Brew Box is a one-of-a-kind subscription service for craft beer lovers based right here in Pittsburgh. Every month, First Sip will send you a box full of craft beer enthusiast essentials, including t-shirts, glassware, and even food. Right now, our friends at First Sip Brew Box have an offer for you. Just sign up for a 3-month subscription and get your 4th month free. Just enter the code HOPUSA when you sign up at firstsipbrewbox.com. That's HOPUSA at checkout to get your 4th month free at firstsipbrewbox.com.
Welcome back to episode 234, segment 2. It's the winter frost, Jack Frost. We're stuck. Everybody's stuck. Help, send help.
We're at home for a different reason this time.
Yeah, it's a send help episode.
This is a true El Clasico. We're at home because of weather.
Right. This is Pittsburgh fucking deciding. But yeah, Adam and I are just at home. We're drinking beers, talking different things. We're having an educational episode, but we're also having beers, and those beers are coming from our fridge. And the beer that's coming from my fridge this time is from Ellicottville, out of Ellicottville.
Well, that's convenient.
How about that? It's called the Hell's Canyon, which is a double imperial West Coast style IPA.
Oh,
yes. I can drink this. I can drink this because I'm at home and I don't have to share with Adam.
That's not the direction I thought you were going with Hell's Canyon.
Oh yeah, how's that?
I thought you were gonna say it was a Hellas.
Oh no. It's Hell's, not Hellas.
1 E, not 2.
Right. It's brewed with Mosaic, Eldorado, and Cardinal hops. 8% IBU or 8% ABV, and then supposedly 103 IBUs.
103, they say.
Yes, 103. They says.
All right then. Does it got 103?
Good, totally good.
All right.
You would fucking hate this one a lot.
Then I'm glad that you have that at home.
Yeah, remember how I said on the last one you would hate it?
Yeah,
you'd hate this one
worse.
A lot. Yeah, you hate this one extra.
I wouldn't like the taste. That doesn't mean I hate Ellicottville in and of itself.
Right,
fine brewery in a fine town.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever featured an IPA by them on this show though.
No, we've had many other Ellicottville beers.
Yeah,
never an IPA.
Yeah, we tend to have like a lot of their, I don't know, they make a lot of goofy dessert stuff and things of that nature, and we usually feature those. But this is, they have their own. It's called the Voyager IPA Pack, and so what they did is they tried to brew 4 different IPAs of different cardinal directions. So West Coast, you can imagine which that one is. I also had a New Zealand hopped one from them representing the South. They have an IPA that's made with all New York ingredients.
That's North, I would assume.
That's North, yeah. And then they have one that's like a hazy IPA with like pineapple. So East Coast.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I can dig it.
Yep. This one though, interesting flavor profile.
How so?
Aside from the fact that you would hate it.
That's not interesting. That's just factual.
Yeah. It's like super bitter, but also like there's a malty back end to it.
Okay.
Yeah. It just tastes like a big beer that's an issue.
So it kind of sounds like it's dancing around that like Dogfish Head 90-minute kind of arena. Where a little big hops, but it's got that malt to go along with it.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit actually. I'd almost be interested because it's been forever since I've had a 90-minute. I'd slightly be interested in putting this one up against it just to see. I have a feeling it might fall a little short of the 90-minute because the 90-minute is really drinkable. This one, this one is still like West Coast. Like you can tell it's still kind of very West Coast forward and would be off-putting, but yeah.
Well, off-putting for me.
Right. Well, not just you. I think it's going to be off-putting for a lot of people because it is a real, like, almost perfect. It's hard to say perfect in 2022 of like what the fuck a West Coast IPA is, but of my nostalgia brain, as nostalgia brain remembers, this is pretty damn close, and it's pretty good. I enjoy it.
So it sounds like if you kind of took a 6-point resin and a 90-minute and kind of combined them together, this is kind of the love child.
Maybe a little bit. The thing with the resin is it's usually really fresh and like citrusy. This isn't citrusy. This is more earthy and bitter.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Another beer that I haven't had in forever, but I'm willing to make the comparison is the Southern Tier Unearthly, which was like a 9% IPA that was also obviously like very deep and bitter. I think that one was a little more piney, but there's no pine notes on this one that I'm getting. It's just like malt and earth and bitter, and but I like it.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you like it, because as you said, I probably wouldn't. And again, that's not disparaging Ellicottville Brewing in and of itself. You know, it's just I don't dance in that realm.
Yeah. I also recommend the Sankt Polydorf. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know where that name comes from, but that's the one that's made with New Zealand hops. And I'd say check that one out too. It was pretty easy, nice drinking, but I don't think anything stands out about it that's like, oh, New Zealand. Yeah. So
throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Nope, that's not them. They don't like that.
No, they don't. That's why I said it.
They don't like that. But what are you drinking?
So this is a beer that kind of got away from me a little bit. It got shuffled back towards the back of the beer fridge, and I'm disappointed that happened, because this is kind of a beer that I was looking forward to, but then it kind of got lost because new beers kept coming in. We've all been there. We know how that goes. Yeah. But this is a North Carolina beer. This comes from a friend of the show, Greg. Greg, thank you very much. I'm just drinking everybody else's beer on this show.
Yeah.
But this comes from the Salty Turtle Brewery out of Surf City, North Carolina. This is the Muddy Buddy.
Ah.
Yes, it is a peanut butter chocolate stout. Comes in at 6.5% ABV, so it's a lot lighter than the Hitchhiker I had previously.
Yeah.
This is a good cruising beer. But yeah, it's a milk stout. You know what? I gotta give a shout out to Salty Turtle and whoever designed their website, and especially on mobile. It is really nice.
Oh, it's functional.
It's functional. Yes.
Interesting.
To the point where when you look at their hours of operation, it will highlight what day you're actually on.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's so simple. And it's like, oh, son of a bitch. That's so smart. But from their website, it is brewed with nugget hops, which, that makes sense. Malt profile. You got 2-row, you got chocolate, flaked oats, and roasted barley. So it's stout, got a lot of peanut butter chocolate to it. It's like drinking a peanut butter cup. I am disappointed in myself for letting this get shuffled back, but it did. But shuffled no more.
Okay.
It's here. It's the stout. I like it.
Can you give it a rank? Because I mean, there's so many of these beers anymore, but can you give it a rank in comparison to like Sweet Baby Jesus or
the Purple Monkey Dishwasher?
Or I was even going to say the RAR 10 layer.
Oh, oof.
I feel like that's upper echelon, and then
that is, yeah.
And then Sweet Baby Jesus is kind of like baseline.
So I would definitely put it in the same conversation as Sweet Baby Jesus. And now, this being said, it's been a long time since I've had a Sweet Baby Jesus. It's been a year or two, but with this one, I'd nudge it up a little bit over top of that one.
Yeah, I feel like most people make Sweet Baby Jesus. Whereas like some people shoot for the RAR 10 layer, but that's the only one that I can think of that comes to mind that is just so thick and decadent.
Yeah. This one does not quite get the full decadent level.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is still a very enjoyable beer. I am glad that I have this beer for this show.
Yeah. A lot of the other ones I'm thinking of, like they shoot for that high ABV, like 8 to 10%. And then, but they kind of fall short because they don't have the decadent dessertness to it. It's usually like a super bitter stout with a peanut butterness to it.
Yeah. And I think that is another bit of a feather in the cap that they did keep the ABV relatively low at 6.5. They're still able to maintain the flavor.
Yeah.
So yeah, tip of the cap. Good beer.
Cool. Good for Salty Turtle.
Out of Surf City, North Carolina.
maybe we'll get some more of them in the future. In the meantime, though, let's move on.
Yes, let's.
Yeah, I said we were doing an educational episode, so I got two little bits that they're educational, and I think they revolve around tradition, not just beer tradition, but alcohol tradition. They're beer adjacent, but I thought yeah, I thought they both were like a little bit too big to cover in news notes and neat, but enough they can have a segment for. I want to talk a little bit about different alcohol traditions, and one of them I wanted to start with. We are in the middle of the Lunar New Year celebration that's going on, which
Go Tigers.
Yeah, go Tigers. Is it the year of the tiger? Is it the year of the war damn eagle?
Oh, jeez. No, everybody knows it's Roll Tide.
Yeah, it is the Lunar New Year, and as like many Asian countries celebrate, specifically China, but it is celebrated in Vietnam, Malaysia, and other countries in Southeast Asia. It starts with the new moon, the first new moon of the new year. So February 1st, and then the celebrations run until the full moon. So about 2 weeks. So this year lands Feb 1st, starts or ends February 16th. Pretty simple. Everybody
you can have yourself a hell of a celebration with that length of time.
Yeah, and they do. Specifically in China, they do have an alcohol tradition that goes along with Lunar New Year, which is also known as their Spring Festival. Okay. And they celebrate with, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's called Nianju. Okay. And it's essentially just like alcohol is used as just a way of reminiscing, a way of bringing people together. The whole festival itself is meant to bring people and families back together. And so it gives everybody time to celebrate as a family. I know, like, the one Chinese restaurant I really love, I can't go to this month. Like, I can never go to this month because they always go home to China. So right. And they go back to their family and they celebrate. So yeah, I can't go get go get the disgusting amount of family meal that I love.
Some sacrifices are needed to be made for the greater good, Steve.
Hey, I get it. I'm not downing on them. So, but I'm just saying, I understand it now. But yeah, the part of the tradition though is they just celebrate with wine and also a traditional drink called Baiju. Okay. And Baiju is basically, it's a white wine-ish, but rather than grapes, it's usually made with fermented sorghum and rice.
Oh, okay. So, all right. Because when you said that, I initially went to a rice wine.
Right. It's far more sorghum, and then I think rice is maybe used as a finisher a little bit. Okay. Or just like an additive, but it's usually far more like of a sorghum base. And I just thought that's very beer adjacent because sorghum shows up in a lot of beers, and especially in a lot of gluten-free beers. So,
but I find it interesting because I just never think of sorghum as being overly plentiful. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because it's not a part of my everyday vernacular. Right. But I just never think of it as being, so plentiful that you could do all that stuff with it.
Yeah, but I think it is because, one, this is a more distilled drink, so this is shooting up into the ABVs of like vodka. It's of like 30 to 60%. Yeah. So yeah, theirs are
wrecked.
Yeah, they're not letting it go to waste. It's a quote Chinese white wine, but it is way higher gas than wine. Yeah. But
yeah, they distill it anymore, it will be actual gas.
Right. But I think it is far more plentiful over there as a crop, and they use it to grow, and obviously they celebrate I think Nianju literally translates to nostalgia, So again,
Okay.
it's meant to, just kind of bring about those good feelings and good memories as you, chill with your family for 2 weeks. It is said though that, even though there isn't a full beer tradition, a lot of Tsingtao gets put down. So
I can imagine.
yeah, it's a thing. I did find though, to bring it back to beer and America, did find that there are a number of breweries who do celebrate Lunar New Year. Either they have like traditions of staff who worked in Asia, or they just have a large Asian population, or they're just looking to celebrate diversity in some way. So there's a number of breweries who do celebrate that. One I wanted to focus on though very specifically, because it is Asian owned and because they have a very specific beer they brew, is Lucky Envelope out of Seattle.
Lucky envelope?
Envelope.
Envelope?
Envelope.
Envelope?
Envelope. Envelopey. But yeah, they're out of Seattle, and this goes tied with tradition that dates back 5,000 years. So we've talked about it before in the past of how they discovered like beer residue in Chinese urns, like 5,000 years ago. So I guess in that time that we first talked about it, because I believe that was probably maybe in the first year of the show that we brought it up.
Yes.
So that would have been like 2017. 2019, Lucky Envelope reached out to the research team that had made the discovery and kind of, run everything through the spectrograph and looked at all the seed pods and everything that was around the urns that were discovered. And the research team came up with a kind of a basic recipe that was in it. Lucky Envelope reaches out, they get the basic recipe and the blessing from the research team, and then they actually brew their own version of it.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So starting 2019, they started brewing the Mijiana, or the Mijiaya. Yeah, the Mijiaya historical Chinese ale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so they had to source a bunch of non-traditional brewing ingredients. Like they use different yams and Chinese squashes in it. And then they also had to find a plant that's called Job's Tears.
Job's Tears?
Yeah.
All right.
Right. Which apparently is very plentiful in China. But it's like a really regional barley.
Huh.
Yeah.
I'm
so
curious where the name came from.
I don't know where it comes from, whoever was fucking naming plants back then.
I'm up. I get to call it whatever I want.
Exactly. It has a Latin name too, but I'm not doing that.
No. Yeah. There's only so much time on this podcast.
There's only so much time, and I'm already butchering Chinese words. Let's not have me butcher like Latin words. But yeah, it is. It is a regional barley, so they had to source that. They had to find a source for that. They had to find a source for the other things that were in it, and then apparently the beer comes out like a cream ale.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Now you have my attention.
I know. I make you excited.
Yes.
Yeah. They say it's like a cream ale with like sweet notes to it, as well as kind of rye spice.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm into this.
Yeah. So you can, like I said, they started in 2019, but it appears that they've been brewing it every Lunar New Year. So it's on tap now if you want to fly to Seattle.
Hey, Lucky Envelope, hit us up. I would like to try that.
But yeah,
if you're on the completely wrong side of the country from us.
Right. And
that's okay.
I don't know that they bottle or can this one either. So I think it's a draft only special for the celebration.
Yeah, that one's going to be difficult.
Yeah, just because like the way like I was reading the way it brews up, and like it comes out like a real thick slurry. Like it takes extra work to push all of it through, and
this is a high effort beer.
Yeah, it's a high effort beer, but it's something that, you know, you do it for the love of the game, and, you know, wanting to put something out there that really nobody else is doing.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I appreciate that as a beer fan.
Yeah, I appreciate it too. It's a one of a kind thing that definitely separates you from everybody else. You know, you had to contact a fucking research team. Like the butterfly beer.
Right.
They had to get professors and scientists involved. Anytime you got to do that, that's a lot of work for a beer.
That's off hours stuff there.
Hell yeah. But, you know, it shows you care. But yeah, I think that one might be draft only. I'm assuming it is.
But if it isn't, lucky envelope, let us know.
Sure. The other tradition I wanted to talk about kind of brings us back to something we've talked about in the past. But National Geographic put out a new article about this.
Okay. National Geographic is still a thing?
Yes.
Good. I'm glad they are.
Everything is still a thing. It's just all online. But you know, we've talked in the past about chicha, right?
Oh yes, spit beer.
Yeah. So not every, and I'm pretty sure we were clear about this when we originally talked about it, but, you know, Dogfish Head, they made chicha, which it has traditions of being a spit beer because it is like chewed grains and corn, and then you just leave the spit because it helps germinate and ferment. And so, yeah, you get spit beer, and that's how Dogfish Head made theirs. And it does have a tradition of that in South America. Not every chicha is spit beer, though. To be clear, not every chicha is spit beer, and we're not talking about a spitty chicha this time.
Spitty Chicha, band name, call
Hell
it.
yeah. Hell yeah, spitty chicha. But what we are talking about is the molle chicha. And molle is like a tree that has berries in South America.
All right.
And it's mostly in the Peru Andean kind of area. You know, up in the Andes.
In the high ups.
Yeah, in the high ups. And there is a tradition among tribes of using molle to produce chicha. And basically they take the berries down, they soak them in water so the sugars are expressed, boil it, ferment it. Not, you know, it's not not too different from everything else.
Not splitting the atom here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also a plant that's used for like medicines and like dye. You can like, they can dye clothes with it, and, you know, obviously alcohol. What was discovered by the National Geographic is it wasn't discovered by Nat Geo. I mean, hold on. Hold up.
Dr. Pole was not involved.
Yeah. An archaeology team has been investigating sites of past cultures in Peru. And what they found was they found a brewery in the Andes mountain area. And it basically was an outpost that had a brewery. So it was part of the Wari Empire. And the Wari Empire is a precursor to the Inca Empire.
Okay. All right. But
you know, you had the Wari Empire, and then they set up an outpost in the Andes Mountain, and part of that was a brewery. That's how we get there.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're tied in.
Yeah, now you're tied in. The molle chicha that was produced by the Wari Empire, it was traditionally used for just like celebrations, you know, things like weddings, birthdays, and then anytime that they were welcoming in other, you know, groups that weren't necessarily associated with them. So anytime you were like doing, I don't know, business deals, for lack of a better term, you get the chicha out and you have a party.
Hey,
you know, it's a good time.
Have a day.
Yeah. What this archaeology team, though, also discovered recently was that there were Vilca seeds at the brewery site.
Vilca
Seeds. And Vilca is a potent hallucinogenic.
Oh, we're getting weird.
Yeah, we're getting weird. This is what was recently discovered. So Vilka it contains goddamn another word. It contains bufotenine. Okay.
Say that word again.
Bufotenine or bufotenine. One of those two.
No, I like bufotenine.
Yeah, I like bufotenine too. But it contains that for the most part, and then also DMT compounds. Apparently,
yeah.
Apparently, bufotenine is also what is found in toads that make you hallucinate as well. So
okay, when you lick them,
yeah,
allegedly,
but yeah. So the comparatively though to like ayahuasca, which is also very popular in South America, this is supposedly like less intense, has a shorter duration. Like you're not vomiting and shitting yourself for 36 hours.
Which is always a plus.
Right. This is a much more chill plant.
It's like a 3 or a 4 on the scale of 10.
Right. But what they're hypothesizing is, though, and it was kind of a hypothesis beforehand, that they use these Vilca seeds in, political and religious tradition. That you gather around, you get a little high, and you hash some things out, or you worship a god, you have a time. What they're hypothesizing is that the Vilca seeds were actually also put into the chicha.
Chicha and Vilca.
Yeah. They're looking at it as kind of like the way some drugs dilute when you put them in, like teas and things of that nature. It would be the same way with this. So you get a more even chill buzz. Like you get a party buzz.
You just sort of take the edge off.
Right. You get a party buzz rather than just flipping your fucking mind out and, and asking God who wins the Super Bowl.
You know what? Maybe that does need to be introduced into modern government.
You'd think.
Just everybody needs to chill out for 20 minutes and let's hash this out.
Yeah. Stop screaming at each other. Have a little reality check. Maybe you can all come to an agreement that, yeah, healthcare for everybody is a good thing.
Yeah.
Maybe once you realize, maybe you have a little touch with God, recognize your mortality, have a little touch with nature, recognize that, everybody should have access to plants and healthcare. Maybe
we'll all be a little bit better.
Yeah. Maybe, and then maybe you don't get the guillotine.
Steve's words, not mine.
I don't give a shit. The thing about the Vilca seeds, though, that further is reinforced that this was an intentional thing that they put the hallucinogenics into the beer, was that, like I said, the molle, it grew, the plant, like it grew in the area of that outpost and the brewery. Yeah. But the seeds would have been more located, those plants would have been more located from the south. So there's an intention of travel that moved, those seeds to that brewery site so they could be used, for having meetings with other, groups who weren't part of the Worry Empire.
I hope that's the case. And I hope it's not a matter of somebody just forgot their dime bag one day.
Like there's just one dude who worked at the brewery and was fucking high all the time.
Yeah. And then 600 years later, a bunch of, researchers come by. Oh, this is what this had to have been.
No, that was just Jason's. That was all personal use.
Jason's just forgetful.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, they found, they were able to figure out that it was like a brewery site because of how much molle was in the area. And then they just found other ingredients that were in the area as well, as like wheat and barley and, just remnants of all these things. And then these Vilca seeds. So
all the pieces were coming together.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we need to get a little bit of that around here.
I mean, this is what, for all the stories that, I keep mentioning THC products, and I keep mentioning that the possibility of psilocybin beers exist. I'm just preparing the audience to like go on trips. Like, get ready. It's coming.
But let's start at like a 1 or a 2.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think I was even reading that Vilka is even less potent than a psilocybin trip.
Okay.
So this would probably be like, if weed is a 1, this might be like a 3.
Okay.
Yeah. It might be the comparison. I don't know. I've never fucks with the South American hallucinogenics.
I've yet to go down that path either. Don't know that I will ever.
Well, I doubt your fucking company tests for Vilka, so
I doubt that, but I'm not going to try that either.
Yeah. But yeah, those are just some interesting traditions that I found over the past, that came up in the past weeks, because obviously Lunar New Year is happening, and Nat Geo put this out, and I was like, oh, well, let's learn about international drinking culture.
And then we did.
Yep.
And then we found out that Jason's just forgetful.
And then Jason just left his stash at the brewery and
causing a whole bunch of stripes 600 years later.
Yeah, just a lot of speculation. Like, oh yeah, no, they didn't just get drunk; they got high.
I mean, it all kind of makes sense, who's going to stop them?
Yeah, why would you not? There's no Jeff Sessions back then. There was just plants and rivers and jaguars.
Right.
The jaguars don't give that much of a shit.
No, you give them their space, they'll give you yours.
Yeah. Don't fucks with them.
Unless it's Blake Bortles.
Fuck you, Bortles.
Duval. That's all I had to say about Jaguars.
Sure. Nope. And that's all I have to say about international drinking culture for now.
I will say, if anybody else has an international drinking culture information, let us know.
Yeah.
Hit us up.
Yeah. I think that I've seen just in weird research, but I didn't confirm further. There are like some breweries in South America that do dabble in chichas, but I never went as far to, like, I didn't know what a molle plant was back then. So I don't know if you can like buy a molle chicha currently. I didn't get that far.
That'll be next week's episode, unless we forget. Intentionally or not.
It'll be in the neat next week.
Yeah.
Or a note. It'll just be like, hey guys, you can buy molle chicha in South America.
So if you're in El Salvador, go here.
Yeah. If you're in Peru, check it out.
But until then, what do you say we talk about the beers that we got right here and now?
Yes. Here and the now.
The here and the now. I've got the Muddy Buddy, Salty Turtle, Surf City, North Carolina. I don't think there's any relation to the Beach Boys. Good beer. Peanut butter, chocolate stout. I like all of those words, and I like all of those words put together, and I like this beer that's been put together. Kudos to Salty Turtle. I like it. I would drink it again if I could, but I can't. So I'm going to drink this one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I like it. And another shout out for the website. I'm still blown away how good their website is.
Some websites are ass. Some websites don't even work at all.
But this one did.
Some people are super reliant on their Instagram, and maybe you shouldn't be always.
I have thoughts on that I'm not going to put in front of a microphone.
Yeah. Well, if you want it all to work, you have to pay. So.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? If Salty Turtle did pay for a good website design, money well spent, because I was engaged.
Cool.
It wasn't just get the information and move on. No, I shot around a little bit. It was good. They hooked me.
They got me.
So what about you, Steve? What about your Westie?
Yes, I'm still drinking on the Hell's Canyon by Ellicottville. It's a West Coast IPA. It's a double IPA because it's 8%. It's got a lot of big, bold, bitter flavor on it. Mm-hmm. A lot of earthy flavors on it. It feels mostly Mosaic dominant, but there's just slight hints of things that I don't recognize from, just straight up mosaic beers. So
it's got like some extra herbalness to it, or
Yeah.
herbiness.
yeah, because there is Eldorado and Cardinal hops, but I honestly couldn't tell you the difference between those two.
I assume the Cardinal is red.
That's not the direction I was going to go.
Oh, one level under the Pope.
Cardinal direction, get it? Swing and a miss, boss.
There's so many Cardinal options.
I know. It's good beer. Again, I don't remember ever drinking anything traditional from Ellicottville that wasn't just goofy times. Maybe I have, but
So let me ask you this: with this traditional beer from Ellicottville, under your belt, would you go explore other traditional beers by them?
Possibly, if I see them. It's still got to be something that entices me otherwise.
Right.
Like this enticed me because it said West Coast. Like very few beers I think nowadays call out they're a West Coast. So yeah, if they had West Coast, which they did, they had New Zealand, which also enticed me. If they put out a cold IPA, probably check that out. So yeah,
Cold IPA, sons of bitches.
I still haven't had one yet.
I refuse.
They're out there.
I know they're out there.
Yeah.
It's like a plague.
I was at that Giant Eagle that I don't.
Yes.
The one I steal from. The one I steal from.
But not literally.
Yeah, not literally. But they had a huge Wicked Weed display of cold IPA. I was just like,
good for
no.
them.
Yeah, I was like, pass, hard pass.
No, thank you. What do you say we take a quick break, reload, talk about some things?
Cool.
Hi, I'm Lauren.
And I'm John.
And we host the Beard Owl podcast, the podcast where we talk about two of the greatest things in the world, beer and Weird Al.
And a bunch of other stuff.
That's right. Do you like nostalgia? Do you like sibling banter? Do you like beer? Do you like Weird Al? Are you human?
If you answered yes to any of those questions, give us a listen. Become one of our loyal commenters.
Oh, welcome back to segment 3 of episode 234 of the Hop Nation USA podcast. It's still just me and Adam hanging out, doing beer things.
But since it's a podcast, we call this productive.
Hell yeah. Doing beer things during the cold winter times.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you're listening on a Friday, as you should, and you probably will be, then guess what? You're stuck at home too. So don't get fucking mad at us because we didn't record in person. Not wrecking my car for you.
Yeah, you're not worth it.
Yeah.
In this instance. And other instances, you, listener, are worth it.
Yes. I love you for a lot of reasons, but not enough to wreck my car.
That's right. Would love you a lot more if you paid us, though.
Sure. Or just send us beer. That's fine too.
No, straight cash, homie.
Straight cash. You can Venmo me. I take those forms. Adam does not.
No, legal tender, please and thank you.
Yeah. You can also pay me in giant gold cubes that hang out in Central Park. Did you see that fucking thing?
No, what's that?
Some stupid ass art installation it's a giant gold cube that is worth like $11 million, and somebody just plunked it down in the snow.
Why?
Art.
I don't what's the message? I
fucking knows. Fucking cares. Go steal it.
So it's just basically it looks like a giant bouillon cube.
Yeah, it exactly does. It looks like a giant bouillon cube sitting in the middle of Central Park.
This is the worst soup ever.
Yeah, this soup stinks. But what doesn't stink is probably the beers that we're drinking.
I like to think so.
Yeah. Adam, if you want to go first, you can.
I do want to go first because I'm actually fairly amped on this one. This is another Pittsburgh local. This is a hot commodity beer. They've only come out here in the last year or so. Old Thunder. We've talked about them.
Mm-hmm.
Out there in the Blaunox. having fun out in the mail office, the post office. Old Thunder Brewing Company. This is their smoked midnight blue. Is it a smoked American porter? Comes in at 7% ABV. And oh boy, if you like smoke, you like this beer.
Yeah.
And guess what? I like this beer.
Neat.
Yeah. Smoked barley, English caramel, and chocolate malts. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Who cares about IBUs on this? That's not why you drink this beer. It's got a good smoke to it.
It does. It does. We were talking about it before we started recording, and I believe I had this beer on a Halloween is Forever episode. But if I didn't, I definitely did have this beer though, and I incredibly enjoy it a lot. It's appropriate you're talking about it now though, because the other smoked dark beer in the Pittsburgh area is coming out this weekend. So
what's that one, Steve?
Clouded Distraction by Hitchhiker.
Yeah.
11% stout that's smoked.
Everybody's gonna get wrecked.
That's also coffee.
Yeah.
It's all the fucking things.
It's made for Steve.
Yeah, it really is. Like, I don't know. Andy's never been on our show. He's dodging us. But for some reason, he still makes the beer that I want. So whatever.
So, is he really dodging us, or we just haven't really called him up lately?
We just haven't called him up lately.
Yeah. Don't be putting that out there.
Yeah, let's put that out there, because then if we say he's dodging us, then maybe our listeners will be like, Andy, stop dodging him. Go on the show. Go on Hop Nation.
So you're just starting a grassroots bully campaign by proxy, just hoping other people will do it?
Yes. If it works for Cumtown and Chapo Trap House, it should work for us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you got me convinced.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, I guess we should celebrate with a beer then, since we're starting our new proxy bully campaign.
Proxy Bullies. Hell yeah.
Band name.
But I mean, yeah. I also have a porter.
Oh, all right.
But I'm merely
searching.
I'm merely circling the state of Pennsylvania. I have not touched Pennsylvania this episode. I did Massachusetts, and then I did New York. I'm on day Ohio. But from the Brew Kettle, I have their Heritage Porter.
Ooh.
And this is new for 22. It's a 6% alcohol, and it's got 22 IBUs, and it's a dark and decadent robust porter. I will say though, I think you'll enjoy the way they describe the beer.
Hit me.
It is, well, hey, that's very appropriate, because it is a dark and decadent porter with a chocolatey jab and a roasty right hook. Brewed.
Shit, you serious?
Yeah, seriously, yeah. No, this was written for you. It is brewed for the mustache gentleman who fears not the occasional round of civilized fisticuffs.
That's right. Put up that bitch mittens. Let's go.
And fisticuffs is fist -I -cuffs. So they really want you to phonetically pronounce fisticuffs.
And I usually do. So
right, yeah, that's why I thought that was appropriate for you. The label's kind of cool too. It looks like a classic. Even though it's a porter, it kind of appears to be pulling on Old English or Old German, label art style. So that's kind of cool. The beer itself, though, is actually really good.
Right on. So let me ask you this question. Was this beer attained during a Vintage Estates trip?
It wasn't. I haven't got the vintage yet.
Oh, okay.
This was just like this was attained on a prep for the snow trip.
Oh, this is a bread and milk trip.
Yeah, this was a bread and milk trip, and then also beer. So, and I picked this up. I did pick it up in Ohio, but yeah, it's on the nose, huge roast. Like a lot of roasty notes, and then it smells so roasty. I didn't think it would actually hold up to its claims of being decadent, but it actually is pretty decadent for like a 6% porter. It has, yeah, it's surprisingly good. There's not a whole lot of bitter flavor on it. Just like there's a little bit on the back end, but it's really like roasty up front and then smooth on the back. I really like this beer.
So, and there are no other known adjuncts in there. It's not, vanillaed up or anything like that.
No. Not that I can tell. I mean, there's nothing. It just seems like it's a straight porter. And I mean, when you call heritage, I would hope you're not fucking putting Tarani in there as well. I don't think Tarani has a heritage.
Yeah. Heritage, and especially looking at the can art, you kind of got to stay down the middle.
Yeah, I think they're really aiming for that, and they hit it. So, yeah, they were looking for a very simple porter, but it is very good.
That's impressive that they were able to do that. Keep it as base porter and still have it be as smooth as you're saying it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
nice.
It doesn't dip too far into that bitter, the bitter coffee and the bitter, just overall bitterness of a porter. But
nice. Nice.
It's nice and roasty, easy drinking. I'm into it.
Heritage. It's the business. There. You can use that for free. We'll cut you a clip later.
Sure.
So we had been talking about beers and we had been talking about styles, but Steve, there's simply not enough styles out there.
Oh no, there isn't.
So we need to come up with some new beer styles.
Oh shit. Sure.
So this is a new segment that's called Smash 'em and Mash 'em. And what we're going to do is we're going to take two styles, mash them together, and create a third beer style.
Okay.
So this is a bit of a think piece. We'll have to put on our thinking caps for this.
I have to put on my thinking caps. I also have to maybe do a Google or two just to make sure it isn't something that already exists.
No. We're running with it.
No. I mean, like the resulting smash together. You got to make sure it doesn't already exist as like a thing. But I see how this works though, because we mentioned cold IPAs, which some people would call it an IPL that's been rebranded. Other people would just call it a hoppy lager, which some people would also call an Italian Pilsner. So this is a marketing brainstorm session.
Yes,
So,
and I'll give you one to start off with.
Mhm.
We're going to combine malt liquor,
Hell yeah.
and kombucha.
Oh, yeah. This isn't a thing that already exists. This is not a thing.
We're going to call it Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Yeah.
So what we have to do is we kind of have to, take the best of each of these styles and we're going to shove it into this new style.
I can only imagine how that would taste of malt liquor base of a heavy corn syrup wort fermented with a SCOBY. Just
Yeah, your digestive tract won't know what to do with it.
Right. Yeah. I think you'll get like a nice coating on your inside of your tummy. You get a nice coating of probiotics, but then you also throw it right back up. But still, that coating goes across like the esophagus. So,
It's a net positive.
Yeah, it's a net positive. It's just for coatings. Don't try to drink it. Just.
But I like the idea if we're able to take the probiotic positivity of the kombucha and the high ABV of some of the malt liquors you can get.
Yeah.
Combine that together so you can get hammered drunk, but still feel good about it because you're being healthy.
You're going to get mad at me, but.
Go for it.
This is like, I don't care. I'll say it anyway. I've said enough wild shit anyway. This episode, so I have this image in my mind of like thinking about like gut bacteria at like the Osmosis Jones level. And there's just a bunch of drunk Irish bacteria because they're all loaded up on malt liquor. It's just a bunch of drunk Irish bacteria. How's you coming down in there?
How the box it is.
There's a buck ears. How you go?
Choy. So that's our first one with the Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Our next one is it's going to be an oyster stout and a Flanders.
Okay.
We're calling that one Shell Shocked. Because the oyster shells and a Flanders, I don't know if you've ever had a Flanders, but sometimes the sourness and the tartness on them can be shocking.
Yes. I'm thinking if we can rebrand this, because I don't know that I don't know everybody's going to be like, oh, a shell shock ale. Is there another name we can come up with?
So Flanders is, obviously you're gonna dip into the Simpsons side of things. That's the easy route.
Which automatically would lead me to like a beer name of like High Diddly Tide.
Ooh.
Like that's a beer name.
Damn it, that is good. Nobody take that.
Yeah, nobody take High Diddly Tide.
Bashline, you can have that. Nobody else.
Bashline brew of Flanders oyster stout. But how do you market it as an actual style? Maybe like you'd have to look up like bodies of water near Belgian. Flanders are traditionally Belgian, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then so you find like the body of water that's best representative that would have oysters in it. So like a Red Sea ale, maybe, or I don't know, not the Red Sea.
Which
Black Sea.
Say neither of those are near Belgium.
Black Sea's kind of close. It's closer than Red Sea, I think.
Yeah.
Let me see. This is why I said we had to do a Google, because now I got to look on the map where things are, and I got to find like a lake or a sea, and then I can tell you.
With Belgium, you're looking, North Sea.
Okay, yeah, could be the North Sea. There you go.
You're getting into the southern part of the North Sea.
But there's just like a whole bunch of fucking water all over the place.
It's true. The earth is covered by water 70% of the time.
What's this river here?
What's this river?
Hold on. Let me find out what the name of this river is. I'll tell you. Damn it. But like river oysters. That's a thing.
It is a thing.
They exist. Vergoot dock. That might just be the name of a dock.
No, let's run with it.
Yeah, but you call it a Vergoot dock ale. And people know that it's a Flanders oyster,
and it's got the international flavor to it.
Mm-hmm.
So you can kind of get the people that want to be pretentious but don't necessarily know how to be pretentious.
Right, and you can trick everybody who is adverse to drinking things with seafood in them. Not people who are allergic, but just people who are grossed out by the idea of an oyster stout. You can be like, oh, it's the Canal de Bruges or what the fuck ever. What kind of beer is that? Oh, it's a Canal de Bruges style. And people go,
oh, I'll take 8, please.
Oh, okay. Let me try that. And then it's, a Flanders with oysters in it. Mm-hmm. It's salty sours.
A salty sour.
It could be that too. That sounds more like something it would be named if you named this style in the Carolinas or Florida.
Yeah.
A salty sour. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just salty sour.
Yeah. Here's a salty sour.
But if you were in Florida, you'd probably call it something like crocodile tears or alligator tears or something like that.
Maybe might be that. It's kind of like, yeah, definitely not crocodile. It's alligators down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gator Goza, maybe.
Oh yeah. Gator Goza.
Yeah. Just because they do have Florida Vice.
What the hell is a Florida Vice?
It's their Berliner Weisses that are like have a shitload of fruit in them. Yeah. But they're like local fruit.
All right. So oranges,
Yeah, oranges and whatever berries.
1 lime.
Yeah, but yeah. They might call it a Gator Goza, but I like I like calling it a Canal de Bruges.
Sounds fancy. I would try it.
Yeah, because it's a Flanders with river oysters.
Yeah. I think that there is a good possibility of that happening in the next year or two if the right person picks up on this.
Mm-hmm. River oysters aren't like great food, but you can put them in a beer and like try to sell people on decadence that doesn't exist.
And then there's the other thing of what you can do is you can take just dirty water and put a bunch of let me. There is more to it. And you can take the oysters and put it in the dirty water to help clean it up.
Oh.
Before you start putting it into a filtering process and all that stuff, because oysters are very good at cleaning up water.
Oh, okay.
So you can kind of take the environmental angle on it as well.
We have oyster filtered water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. All good marketing ploys.
That's right. And if anybody wants them, let us know because we only charge 20%.
Yes. Get a contract.
So the next one that we have is a combination of, and this one's going to be difficult to do, but it's going to be a combination of an Eisbock and a cream ale.
I see what you're shooting for. You want an ice cream ale.
It's an ice cream ale. Everybody loves ice cream.
Yeah, I see what you're shooting for there. But you got to spell
How the hell?
you got to spell it German ice, so it's EIS.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
ice cream ale.
So how the hell are you going to have a lower ABV with an Eisbock? I say the hell with it, and you just take a cream ale and you Eisbock the shit out of it.
Right. Well, yeah. The thing is, like, an Eisbock is technically a lager, so you would just do the cold distillation of a cream ale because it's still an ale.
Right, but with cream ales are kind of that hybridization between lagers and ales.
Yeah, I mean, you could do. Ooh, I wonder now.
Uh-oh. I can hear the gears turning from here.
Right. So one of the ways to produce a cream ale is you do the first you do basically 2 fermentations, and you do an early fermentation of ale yeast, and do a quick burn, and then you can do a longer rest with a lager yeast.
Yes.
But what if in between that, the 2 fermentation stages, that's where you do the cold distillation.
I think we're onto something here.
So you do the cream ale you do the ale fermentation, take it down, and that would probably kill all of the yeasts from the cream ale. But then you bring it back up to temp after you do the distill, and then you lager it again to see if there's anything left in there for the lager yeast boys to get in there.
And I think that would still produce a higher ABV as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that for sure produces a high ABV. But
so if anything, that would be the way to make the highest ABV cream ale around.
Yeah. I'm wondering, there might be something about that high alcohol content stressing out the lager yeast that might make it bad. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But I feel that that's worthy of experimentation.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
It's cream ale. What happens if you ruin a cream ale? Nothing.
What happens if you ruin a cream ale? Does anybody notice?
No. And I love cream ales.
So, yeah. The other possible way to do this, just a thought, in fucking really taking things in different directions. You make a batch, right? And you split the batch, and you ferment half the batch on ale and half the batch on lager yeast.
Ah, okay.
Then blend together, then ice distill.
I like it.
Just in general, that thing I just brought up. How many people have like done split batches that way?
I don't know. And I think part of the reason for that is how are you going to be able to do that on a consistent basis?
Right. Because, I mean, you are off on timing because lager yeast usually would take longer than the ale yeast. But I feel like you can let an ale sit for a minute before you blend it.
You could. Well, and the other thing is you could do anything as a one-off.
Yeah.
But to be able to do it, as a repetitive process as a brewery would, because, hey, number one, they're a business.
Right.
So, they like repetitivity. I think that's a word. Repetitiveness.
Sure. Whatever. Yeah. They like the
consistency, I think, is the word.
Consistency, repeatability is maybe the word you were shooting for. But yeah, like this is definitely like bad business. But as a home brewer,
you can do anything as a home brewer.
Yeah. As a home brewer, you don't have anybody you're beholden to. You're not supposed to make money off of a home brew, but
right. Who's going to stop you?
Yeah. I've never really heard of anybody doing a split fermentation and then bringing it back for a blend. I've heard of split fermentations just to test different yeasts, but
right. Or different adjuncts or things like that.
Yeah. But never as an intention to blend yeast.
Interesting.
Okay. Well,
somebody out there has to have a 1-barrel pilot system.
Yeah, somebody do that.
Yeah. And when that happens, call us. Well, email us because I don't want to give out my number.
Right. Yeah. Hit the Twitter. Hop Nation USA.
We got DMs. You got DMs. So, Steve, did you have any combinations?
No, I was not aware.
Well, I didn't know if there was something that was kind of clamming around in your head while you were.
No, anytime. The thing with my brain is anytime we're like talking combinations of beers, like my brain automatically goes to Clamato just because it's so gross.
I've never actually had a Clamato.
Neither have I, but because it sounds fucking terrible.
It doesn't get past step one of looking appetizing.
Yeah. But apparently it's also super big in Canada. That's wild.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we need to come up with a replacement for Clamato.
A replacement style. See, now, like plenty of Eastern Seaboard breweries keep beating around the bush like Narragansett and making kind of like seafood boil type beers. They I think Abita also makes one with Old Bay, and I think either Dogfish.
Flying Dog. I'm looking at
Flying
you.
Dog. Yeah, Flying Dog is the other one that makes it with Old Bay. So like, there's plenty of beating around the bush, but it's just like, just go all in and make a really. I know it's an off flavor, but just make a shitty buttery beer.
So when you say a buttery beer, a mistake.
You're right.
Get the marketing department involved.
Right. Sell like people like most people have shit palates, but if you can sell like a lobster beer or a crab beer and it's just like super buttery.
Now that begs a question. Since we're looking at styles and you brought this up, is there a beer that has been brewed and marketed specifically for cooking, not for drinking, but for cooking?
Oh, no. Like how there's like cooking sherry.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know that there's any cooking loggy.
Well, all right. Well, that's a new style right there.
Cooking loggy.
A cooking loggy. Yeah. And I'm wondering if, you had talked about having the buttery notes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that possible to have that infused into the flavor as well to transfer over to the food itself?
Well, I don't know. You'd have to make the cooking loggy first and then try it with the food. But I think you could do a line of cooking loggies of like a garlic loggy.
Oh,
yeah. You get some herbaceous loggies, a rosemary and thyme loggy, and then like they're also buttery. So like, yeah, if you try to drink them, you're not gonna love it. Most people won't love it, but if you put it up a chicken's ass, it should be okay.
I think that is the only instance where saying the phrase put it up a chicken's ass, it'll be okay, is acceptable.
Yeah. Hop
I
Nation
can't think of
USA's new line of cooking loggies.
Shove it up a chicken's ass.
Yeah.
But would you really go with lagers, or would you go with kind of a cheaper ale, like again, a cream ale?
I think traditionally, because
The hell with
people
tradition.
well, I'm just saying traditionally people are used to sticking Bud Light up a chicken's ass. You know?
Fair.
So
Fair.
if you just stick with like a cheap Pilsner base, but
Mhm.
then add your herbs and spices into the beer, yeah, maybe it works
Okay.
that way.
All right. So we need to get a hold of Uncle Jammy.
Yeah, I mean,
We got to expand his empire to expand our empire.
right. Uncle Jamie, have you considered cooking loggies?
Get at us.
Yeah. Personally, cooking loggy sounds more interesting than cooking ale.
It does.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of whimsy to it.
Yeah. Something about cooking ale sounds like I don't know, cooking spray.
It does.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just I don't know what that connection is. There's probably some sort of linguistics behind it, but cooking loggy sounds fun. Cooking ale sounds boring.
I appreciate how this hasn't even become a thing,
Yeah.
but there's already an old timey style and a new way.
Right. And I own both.
That way you come out on top either way.
That's right. I get both demographics. I get the traditional and European markets who want to cook with cooking ale.
Mhm.
Oh, me cooking ale. But then, I have the cooking loggies for everybody else. That's the shit you see on Instagram while you're going through your scroll. You go beer, cat, cooking loggy ad, beer, cat.
Boats for some reason.
Yeah, boats. I don't know why. Some of these, this is the problem with 5 people having access to Instagram. I don't know why we're following some of these people.
But it is a bit of an insight into the people that have access.
Sort of, but it's also a mystery because I don't know who the fuck did it. It's like one of you followed somebody for some fucking reason. And I don't know why.
It's all for fun. It's all for good times.
Yeah, but
Building that base for those cookie loggies.
oh yeah, cooking loggies coming 2023. Ooh, also,
listening.
you don't have to really think about preservation of like taste or packaging. So guess what cooking loggies come in?
What's that?
Bags.
Yes.
Bags
Yes.
and cartons for everybody.
Pass the loggy bag.
That's right. Now, of course, there's going to be, like people in college who are playing slap the bag with rosemary and thyme cooking loggy, but
Oh God. Oh. Oh. Oh, it's like down in a rotisserie chicken.
how much of that buttery beer can you take?
Oh. A product that doesn't even exist yet already has a drinking game.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
We got all the bases covered.
Yeah,
Get the youth market. The money just starts printing itself.
absolutely. Very smart.
Ugh. So that is how you play Smash 'em and Mash 'em.
Hell yeah.
I think we won. I'll take all of my profits in cash, please.
Give me all my money.
The money.
Give me the money.
But first, let's talk about beers. Let's talk about porters. It's porter time.
Hell yeah.
I'll go first because that's the kind of person I am. Old Thunder, Smoked Midnight Blue. The name doesn't particularly roll off the tongue very well,
No, bad marketing.
but good beer.
Good beer, yeah.
The SMB, we'll call it for short.
Sure.
The SMB. It's got a lot of good smokiness to it on the nose, on the taste. I like it. Old Thunder, bringing it. Bringing it.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that beer when I had it as well.
Mhm.
You just said SMB,
Mhm.
and they really should redo the can. Not necessarily the art, but just the color scheme on it.
It's kind of hard to read.
Well, it's kind of hard to read, but redo it so it's like a blue on red. because SMB is also Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, did you know that Rick Seaback was in a Pokemon commercial?
No.
I found that out today.
Like recently or?
Yes, recently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He was in a Pokemon commercial. Apparently it was filmed right here in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's playing his Pokemon's Goes and Rick Seaback was in the background, or?
No, he
He's
was front
playing?
and center.
Oh, he's playing? Okay.
Yeah, you could see Rick. He was there. Can't miss him.
Okay. All right,
So,
cool. Well.
Shout out to a friend of the show, Rick Seaback. Congratulations on your success.
I hope he got all his Snorlaxes and Pikachus that he wanted.
Dream we all want.
Where's you paid in Hitmonchan's or Hitmonlees?
So Steve, what about your heritage porter?
That's all the Pokemon I know.
You're well beyond my realm of knowledge.
I know the Pikachu because that's the popular one,
Mm-hmm.
and the Snorlax because that's the fat one. He's the fat, sleepy one. I get that one. And then the other two I know because it's Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan puns.
And what's the slow one?
Oh,
There's a slow one out there.
sure.
I don't know. There's memes that are surrounded by it.
Sure. Yeah. There's a slow one out there. Good for him.
Doing his best.
Doing his best. Trying hard. Yeah, back to the beer I'm drinking, though. Another porter. The Brew Kettle's Heritage Porter. Yeah, It's a great beer. It's easy drinking. Yeah, this is one of those ones where it's like can't really find too much fault in it. Somebody else with a more experienced palate would have to. But
For the layman?
Yeah, for the layman, but none of those people listen to this show, so.
Well, the one does.
Huh?
I don't know which one, but one of them does.
So maybe, but the thing is just like, if you're a brewer or a master cicerone or whatever, you're not listening to this show for like information. You have the information already.
You are the information.
Yeah, you invented.
We're talking to you.
Yeah, you invented the information. We're the middleman. Don't you understand? We talk to the customers.
We're the aggregators.
Yeah. It's a good Office Space reference. I liked it. But
there are people in the workforce today that are younger than that movie, and that makes me sad.
That's funny.
We're dinosaurs, Steve.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. I don't give a shit.
We're dinosaurs.
I'm out. I've been out for.
We're not hip. We're not with it.
Yeah. I've been out for 6 years. I'm done. I'm just hanging around, seeing how weird it gets.
Let's wait for that Social Security check to start rolling in.
Hell yeah! But yes, Brew Kettle Heritage Porter, very good beer. Check it out. If you're crossing state lines or whatever, if you for some reason find yourself out in Strongsville, Ohio, stop in the tap room, I guess. But yeah, nothing wrong here.
Right on.
With that in mind, though, if you want to find us on the social media, all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA. Well, that'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to listen to brand new episodes of the Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should, then search Hop Nation USA in your favorite podcatcher like Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, what the hell else? Anything that starts in pod and ends in cast.
Just Google us. Come
Just
on,
Google us.
You're smart, listener. We believe in you.
Google us, but don't forget the USA because that's important to it. Otherwise, if you're on any platform that allows you to leave a 5-star review, please do, because
we are a 6 slowpoke show, but they only let us use 5.
And that's a bigger crime than Adam taking all of my time, as I speak, to look up what the Pokemon was.
Guilty as charged.
Going on Google, finding facts out. Who does that on this show?
Facts have no place on this show.
Not at all. This show is about cooking loggies and all that other educational shit on the front that was different, but
Wait.
that was researched, but you're not allowed to research during the show.
No on the fly.
Yeah, no looking up Pokemons on the show.
I didn't realize that was a hard and fast rule here.
Yeah, I saw it's on the sign.
It's on the side.
Yeah.
All right.
No wine, no looking up Pokemons.
I must have missed that when I came in today.
Yeah, it's no problem. No problem. Next week, we're going to come back. Hopefully, we'll have unfrozen ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll do Valentine's treats. All the down the middle beers that we did tonight will be replaced with goof ass shit next week.
We're gonna get all turned on discount Valentine's Day candy.
Yeah, it's gonna be chocolates and fucking all kinds of nonsense. I have a beer that I don't know.
Hmm?
Here's a fun thing. Let's try a fun thing for a change.
Well, it took us 235 episodes.
Yeah, 235 episodes at the very end of this one. I have a beer that we've done a variation of in the past. The Oeffelin Naughty Pretzel Ale.
Yes,
They put out a new version that's a peanut butter pretzel.
Ooh,
yeah. Now, if the audience requests, we'll do that next week with other Valentine's treats. But I didn't want to guarantee that one because it's not chocolate. There's no chocolate involved. But I think a lot of people eat peanut butter pretzels as a yummy treat as well.
Mm-hmm. I would agree with that. I leave it to the people. I think leave it to the people is the way to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if somebody messages us, like two people. If two people message us and say do it, then we'll do it. Because I know Saris makes fucking bank on chocolate peanut butter sticks.
They've got my money before.
Yeah. So I'm just saying there's no chocolate in this one, but it is, and it's also a variation on a beer we've already done.
Yes.
But if you want to hear about it, we'll do it next week.
Otherwise, we'll get something else.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll be chocolate stupid treats.
Yes. So tune in next week to see if anybody else told us what to do.
Yeah. Find out. Fuck
next week. All right. That's it. We're good.
Bye.
Bye.